The Martins bought the old farmhouse for half its worth. It sat on a lonely hill surrounded by brittle cornfields and dying trees. The neighbors, few and far between, had warned them. Bad things happen in that house. People don't stay long. Sometimes, the house doesn't let go. But it was cheap. And it was beautiful. In the kind of broken, weathered way that made them believe they could fix it. Repaint the walls, replace the windows, make it theirs. Their daughter, Emma, was the first to fall in love with it. She found the pink room upstairs, faded and dusty, but still holding the memory of a little girl's laughter. A heavy old wooden closet stood against the far wall, its door slightly ajar. "This is mine," Emma said, beaming. Her voice echoed strangely, almost like the room answered back. That first night, Emma didn't want the light off. "Just for tonight," she said. Her mother, Sarah, agreed. She tucked Emma in, kissed her goodnight, and clicked on the little nightlight shaped like a bunny. At 2:43 a.m., Emma woke up. At first, she thought it was a dream. A voice, soft and slow, like someone trying not to wake her, whispering her name. Emma. She sat up, heart pounding, looking around the room. The nightlight cast weak shadows on the peeling wallpaper. The closet door was closed now. She was sure she had left it open a crack. The next morning, Emma told her parents. They laughed it off. "New house noises," her dad said. "Old pipes and creaky wood," her mom added. Emma nodded, but a cold knot had formed in her stomach. The second night was worse. This time, the whispering started before she even fell asleep. It wasn't just her name. It was other words, strange ones that twisted in her ears, words that didn't sound like English, low and urgent, calling her, begging her. The closet door rattled softly, as if someone was pushing against it from the inside. Emma froze under the covers, staring at the door, tears filling her eyes. "Go away," she whispered. The whispering stopped. For a moment, the silence was almost worse. And then, the door handle jiggled, click, 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 sharp and quick. She screamed, and her parents came running. Lights on, closet open, nothing inside, just old wooden walls and dust. They checked the windows. They checked the locks. Everything was fine. Maybe Emma had been dreaming. "It's just nerves, sweetie," her mother said, stroking her hair. "It'll pass." Emma didn't believe it. The third night, Emma refused to sleep alone. She begged to sleep in her parents' bed, but they told her she needed to be brave. "Monsters aren't real," her father said, smiling. "There's nothing in the closet but dust," her mother promised. That night, they tucked her in, kissed her goodnight, and left the nightlight glowing. The whispering began the moment the door clicked shut. But this time, it wasn't from the closet. It was everywhere. The walls, the ceiling, under the bed. Whispers weaving together into one horrible voice, repeating her name over and over, growing faster and faster. "Emma, Emma, Emma ... and then, 'Let me in.'" The closet door shuddered violently, banging against its frame. Emma screamed until her throat hurt, until her parents rushed in, wild-eyed. The closet door hung half off its hinges, swinging lazily. Her father swore under his breath and promised to fix it in the morning. Her mother sat with her until she fell asleep, rocking her gently. Neither of them heard the faint whispering that continued even after Emma closed her eyes. The fourth night was the last. Emma didn't protest. She didn't cry. She simply climbed into bed, pulled the covers up to her chin, and stared at the closet door. Waiting. Midnight came. The closet door opened with a long, slow creak. Something stepped out. It was shaped like a person, but it wasn't solid. It was a shadow darker than the night, edges shifting and twitching, as if struggling to hold its form. It moved awkwardly, dragging one leg behind it, its hands twitching like broken marionette strings. It shuffled to the side of Emma's bed and leaned close. Cold breath blew across her face. The voice, no longer a whisper, rasped straight into her ear. "Let me in, Emma. Let me in." Emma couldn't move. She felt something press against her forehead, like a hand made of ice. It pushed and pushed, and something inside her mind gave way. She opened her mouth to scream, but the sound that came out was not her own. It was laughter. High-pitched, gurgling, inhuman laughter. Downstairs, her parents awoke with a start. They looked at each other, listening. Laughter. A little girl's laughter. They ran upstairs. The bed was empty. The nightlight was smashed on the floor. The closet door swung gently in the breeze from the broken window. Carved into the inside of the closet door were 4 words, deep and ragged. "She let me in." The Martins packed and left within days. No one stays long in the farmhouse now. The pink room upstairs remains untouched. At night, if you stand close enough to the broken window, you can still hear faint whispering, calling for someone new, waiting. The Martins moved out of the farmhouse just 3 days after Emma disappeared. They told the police she was missing, but deep down, Sarah and Michael knew the truth. They had seen what was carved into the inside of the closet door. "She let me in." No one blamed them for leaving. No one asked too many questions. The house was left to rot on the lonely hill, battered by storms and forgotten by time. For a while they tried to rebuild their lives. New house, new jobs, new town. But they couldn't escape Emma. At night, Sarah would wake to the sound of tiny footsteps padding down the hallway, the soft shuffle of small, bare feet on wooden floors. She would sit up in bed, heart hammering, staring into the darkness. Sometimes she would hear it, a whisper, "Mommy." Other times, she would catch a glimpse of a shadow at the end of the hallway, small and still, just watching her. Michael changed after that. He grew pale and thin. He started locking every closet door in the house before bed. He nailed some of them shut. "It followed us," he whispered once, rocking back and forth at the kitchen table. "We let it out. We let it in." One night, nearly a year after they lost Emma, Sarah woke to the sound of knocking, soft where steady, coming from the closet at the foot of their bed. She sat frozen, staring at the door. The knocking grew louder. Then came the whisper, "Let me in, Mommy." Tears rolled down Sarah's cheeks. It was Emma's voice, fragile, sweet, pleading. "Please, let me in. I'm so cold." Sarah reached out a trembling hand toward the closet door. Her fingertips brushed the handle. "Just a little closer," the voice urged, a hint of something sharp beneath the sweetness. Michael screamed from behind her, tackling her away from the door just as the wood split open with a boom, splinters flying across the room. Inside the closet they saw, for just a moment, Emma's face. But it wasn't their Emma. The thing staring back at them wore her skin like a costume. Its eyes were too wide, too black. Its mouth stretched too far into a grin filled with tiny, needle-like teeth. It tilted its head and whispered again, "Let me in." The closet door slammed shut by itself, rattling on its hinges. When the police arrived, they found Sarah and Michael curled up in the corner of the room, clutching each other, sobbing uncontrollably. They were never the same. The farmhouse still sits on its lonely hill. The pink room upstairs is silent. But if you listen, if you dare to press your ear to the old closet door, you'll hear a little girl's voice still whispering, still waiting, still hungry.